Kalimera σας. Dear distinguished representatives of the Hellenic authorities, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure and honor to join you today on behalf of the European Defence Agency. I would like to warmly thank all the organizers for this kind invitation. The theme of this forum, Greece in Orbit, Scaling Space Capabilities into Strategic Impact, captures the challenge before us, turning promising technologies and national initiatives into operational capabilities, industrial scale, and strategic effect for Europe. This session focuses on funding Europeans' defense and dual-use innovation ecosystem. That is not only a financial question, it is a strategic one. In today's security environment, the ability to finance, develop, test, and deploy critical technologies has become a matter of resilience and sovereignty. Space is one of the clearest examples. As modern defense increasingly relies on space-based services, the need for resilient, high-performance systems becomes even more pressing. Major space powers are already investing heavily in this domain. Europe must not only keep the pace, we must lead with purpose and ensure EU autonomy in this area. Military missions increasingly depend on space-based services as well as space operations. Europe cannot treat space and defense innovation as separate worlds. Technologies that enable commercial competitiveness can also provide a very important strategic advantage. Startups, SMEs, research organizations, and established industry can all contribute to defense readiness, provided that public investment is linked to military needs, technology, and capability priorities. This is where EDA has a distinctive role. We are the forum where member states identify common military requirements, set capability priorities, develop collaborative projects, and connect defense planners with technology communities. Our task is to help member states spend more, but also spend better, reducing fragmentation, avoiding duplication, and turning innovation into usable capability. At political level, the direction is clearer than a few years ago regarding dual-use and military space technologies. The Council conclusions of November 23 reaffirmed the dual-use nature of most space technologies. The EU Space Strategy for Security and Defense established space as a strategic domain and confirmed that most space technologies are dual-use. It also tasked EDA with providing military requirements for the future development of the EU space program and to boost collaboration between member states and industry as regards R&D through CapTech space. EDA brings member states together on a routine basis and has a dedicated framework to foster bi- and multilateral collaboration within space, for example, via capability development and PESCO projects within the CAP Directorate, R&D work in CapTech and the Research, Technology and Innovation Unit, as well as industry engagement. The EDA CapTech space, which I have the pleasure to moderate, steers collaboration between member states and industry for R&D development as regards space defense. The CapTech includes R&D work to support the space services and space operations, including, for example, technologies for space-based Earth observation, PNT, SATCOM, SSA, protection of space assets, launchers, space, and the ground segment. It also supports the development of emerging disruptive technologies, like, for example, artificial intelligence and quantum. CapTech Space gathers at the moment more than 700 participants from 23 participating member states, including also industry, academia, and has already put in place multiple space-related R&D projects co-funded by the member states. The CapTech space also fosters dual-use synergies, promoting collaboration with European Commission and European Space Agency. Our CapTech space portfolio for 2026 includes, besides the ongoing projects, 6 projects in preparation, as well as a joint study with the European Space Agency. It is worth to highlight some examples of our project. EDA signed last year the collaborative R&D project named LEO to VLEO. This project deals with the design, development, and for the first time for EDA, launch and operation of a mini constellation of 3 military satellites for crisis response with Earth observation and navigation warfare missions. Such satellites will be moving from low to VLEO orbit, so from low to very low Earth orbit on demand. This is a very important achievement for EDA. It is the first research project that goes on orbit, as it includes both proof of concept and enormous demonstration of the LEO to VLEO satellites for defense applications. From an innovation perspective, this project is also spot on its innovation. One of the other projects that is in preparation and signature at the moment is the Category B project Remudo. This is the first EDA project within the space domain where we have the participation of Greek industry. It should be also noted that EDA provides a contracting and cooperation framework through which member states can fund industry directly. This means that agreed priorities can be translated into industrial contracts, demonstrators, and deliverables, helping companies to move from promising technology to concrete defense space capability. This also has strategic relevance for European industrial collaboration. A resilient and competitive European defense technological and industrial base is essential to achieve Europe's strategic autonomy and operational readiness. The 2025 EU Defence Industrial Strategy Agenda, including the White Paper for European Defence Readiness 2030, sets out a clear vision, strengthening the European defence technological and industrial base. It also reinforces the role of collaborative frameworks like EDA and our ad hoc R&D projects in aligning national efforts and leveraging innovation. Moreover, the EDA Hub for EU Defence Innovation, HEDI, bridges the gap between promising ideas and operational adoption. HEDI supports proof of concept work, experimentation, trials with military users, and innovative procurement approaches. Finally, EDA supports industry to access the wider European funding landscape, including for space. It also boosts consortium building, aligns national interest, and creates synergies with the European Commission, European Space Agency, SATSEN, and exchanges with NATO. For SMEs, this is very important. This gives visibility, credibility, and a route into European defense cooperation. For Greece and the wider European space ecosystem, this is a major opportunity. Greece has built a dynamic space community with strong industrial, academic, and institutional actors using national and defense budget, as well as budget from European Commission, ESA, EDF, and EDA. Greece moved beyond its role as a user of space technologies and has become a country that designs, develops, and manufactures satellite systems. Investments include the new ELA Space 2 national program with a budget of around 350 million euros for the next 4 years, as well as defense investments from the Hellenic MOD and the Hellenic Center for Defense Innovation, as was discussed earlier today by Major General Bouras and Mr. Georgiakis. Greece aims to create a new high-tech industry with an international outlook, hundreds of skilled jobs, and strong export potential. EDA can help connect this momentum with European defense needs by bringing Greek companies, Greek research centers and universities into the CapTech space activities and multinational project generation. Collaboration with ESA, the European Commission, and SATSEN is central. Each of these institutions has a different role, but our objectives converge, strengthening resilience, reducing dependencies, improving access to critical technologies, and ensuring that space capabilities support both civilian and defense needs. The Joint Task Force on Critical Technologies with European Space Agency and European Commission, the long-term Earth observation implementing arrangement signed this year between EDA and ESA, as well as the EDA Defense Space Forum, all reflect this need. So when we speak about funding industry, EDA's contribution is not only financial in the narrow sense. It creates the conditions for defense funding to work. Common requirements, trusted cooperation, early experimentation, multinational projects, industrial participation, and a path towards capability uptake. The question at the moment is whether we can organize ourselves quickly enough to turn European technological excellence into resilience and deployable capabilities. This can only happen through ambition, smart funding, industrial cooperation, innovation, and defense cooperation. EDA stands ready to continue supporting cooperation between member states, as well as cooperation between member states and the EU industry. I wish you a very fruitful discussion during these 2 days, and I look forward to the ideas and partnerships that will emerge from today's exchange. Thank you very much for your attention.